Welcome to the world of driving. In this video we're going to consider 7 of the most dangerous illusions you can encounter while driving. We have long known that our brains are easily deceived because they are not perfect, just like everything else in this world. That's why there are a huge number of different illusions that easily and simply deceive our brain, which processes visual images in a special way. But it's one thing when illusions are created for our entertainment and other when Mother Nature's illusions occur while driving, which is a huge danger. Here are the most dangerous illusion effects that can endanger the driver, passengers and all road users. So the first is a color illusion. The color of a car, as it turns out, has a major impact on road safety. Experiments have shown that the vast majority of people perceive moving objects painted in different colors differently. It seems that a dark-colored car is moving somewhere far away at a low speed, but in fact its speed is much higher and it is closer to us than it seemed. It was found that the speed of a dark car and the distance to it are underestimated. And vice versa, it seemed that a light-colored car has already come close to us at a frightening speed, but in fact it is traveling slowly and it's still far away from us. Accordingly, the speed of the light car and the distance to it are overestimated. It is believed that a car with a light or bright color is safer than a car with a dark color and gloomy tones. The second is a tunnel illusion. When a vehicle is traveling inside a tunnel, the driver can easily lose the correct judgment of the vehicle's speed and unintentionally pick up speed. When driving in a tunnel for a long, monotonous period of time, the driver does not feel the speed is high. This is especially dangerous when driving in a dark tunnel, when cars with their headlights on can dazzle the driver, even if only the low beam is on. This dangerous effect is caused by the sudden bright light after driving in a dark tunnel. As a result, a blinded driver can slow down suddenly, causing a serious accident and even lose direction. Therefore, when driving in a tunnel, do not forget to turn on your dipped headlights and lights and strictly control the current speed of the car, as said by the traffic rules, by checking it on a speedometer. Third, the illusion of distance. Those who do not have much driving experience and those who have just received their license should pay attention to the illusion of distance. If the distance is insufficient, in the event of a sharp braking of the car in front of you, there is a high risk that you will not have time to stop in an emergency. This dangerous illusion is also worth paying attention to for those who have just recently changed cars. The distance illusion leads to an incorrect assessment of the distance between your car and the one in front. So always keep your distance strictly. If you are not sure, it is better to keep the distance as large as possible. If you're driving in a city, you should keep a distance of at least 15 meters from another vehicle. That's about 3 times the length of your car. If you are driving on a country road, pay attention to the speed of the vehicle. You can calculate the safe distance in meters. Do this, divide your current speed by 2. At a speed of 100 km per hour, the distance should be at least 50 meters. This calculation can only be used in summer on dry asphalt. If you're caught on the road by snowfall, blizzard, heavy rain, fog, leading to poor road conditions, you must double the distance. But it is more convenient, in our opinion, to calculate the distance in seconds, then the speed does not matter. In this case, the distance between vehicles should be at least 2 seconds at any speed on a dry road and at least 4 seconds in adverse weather conditions. In other words, you are advised to pass the point where the other vehicle in front of you has passed in no less than 2 seconds. For example, we see a single tree right in front of us. This is a good reference point. We determine the moment when the yellow car passed it and immediately count in our minds 21, 22. And so, in a little more than 2 seconds, we caught up with this tree, so the distance was normal. Fourth, the illusion of speed. When we move at a certain monotonous speed for a long time, the brain adapts to this speed, so our assessment of the current speed by feeling may not be quite normal. We may be mistaken in thinking that we are moving slowly, when in fact the vehicle may be moving quite fast. This is especially dangerous when after a long drive on a high-speed motorway or motorway you enter a settlement where as a rule traffic is limited to 50 km per hour or even less. However, many drivers having become accustomed to the speed on the motorway continue to drive through the settlements at the same speed, violating traffic rules and creating a dangerous situation on the road. All drivers, especially beginners, should pay attention to this illusion of the speed, as they may start to enter corners at the same speed as they were traveling on the highway without experience. As a result, this can lead not only for fines for speeding, but also to accidents. Therefore, after you have driven at high speed on the highway, entering a settlement or exiting the motorway, pay attention for your current speed and reduce it in advance in accordance with the requirements of the traffic code. Fifth, the illusion of width. When driving along a boulevard, the view of trees on both sides of the road can give driver the feeling of driving in a narrow passage, and the higher the speed, the narrower the road you are driving on will seem. But as soon as the trees disappear, for example open space begins to appear on the sides of the road, you will get the impression that the road has become wider. Many drivers at this point may willy-nilly, without realizing it, add speed to the car. As a result, the car will go much faster than it seems to the driver. This is not only easy to run into fines from cameras, but also to get into an accident. 6. The illusion of turns and straight lines. Due to geographical factors, road may not always be straight. Drivers are also faced with large or small turns on the road. When we drive, we tend to accelerate on straight stretches and then tend to slow down before cornering. This habit can play a cruel joke on any driver, especially when it comes to driving on mountain roads, passes, etc. For example, imagine driving along a winding mountain road where small straight stretches give way to long bends. After driving for a long time, drivers usually get used to constant acceleration on straight stretches and endless bends. Some of them intuitively begin to feel the angle of each turn and become overconfident, but a mountain road never forgives the slightest mistake. After all, each turn is unique in its own way and can have a completely different angle. When you're driving on an unfamiliar road, you may not be able to handle the steering on big bends. Also, if you are used to accelerating in a straight line after each turn, when you start accelerating, you may not realize in time that another sharp turn begins after the turn, rather than a straight section, and you may not have time to slow down. In this case, everything can end badly. Therefore, all drivers should pay special attention when driving around corners, always increasing the distance to other cars in such places and leaving themselves enough space to successfully complete the turn. And of course, we must not forget that it is safest to drive around corners at low speed. 7th, the illusion of time. Driver's mood can have a huge impact on their driving. When a driver is in a good mood, it seems to them that time is flying by very quickly. And when he is upset, he usually feels that time is passing more slowly. In addition, when you're in a hurry, you always feel like there's very little time. This usually causes panic in the driver and provokes violations of the rules and less attentive driving. But for safety's sake, drivers shouldn't fuss and get nervous even if they're running late. After all, such things often cause road accidents. The main thing is to remember that if you are late, it seems to you that time is running twice as fast. Unfortunately, this is how your brain works, creating such a strange perception of the world. Therefore, regardless of the road conditions and circumstances, you must control your driving behavior. Behave patiently, attentively, do not fuss, be sure to monitor the speed of the car, do not break the rules and ensure proper safety for yourself, passengers and other road users. Conclusions. Of course, there are other illusions, but we have considered, in our opinion, the most dangerous of the driver. Due to the influence of many factors, drivers often experience various driving illusions, which leads to improper operation and even accidents on the road. Therefore, every driver should understand how such driving illusions arise and how to deal with them to ensure road safety. That's all for now. See you in the following video.